Hello. Uh, I want to let you know that your mic is still muted.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Wowza. Wow, yeah, I've been talking quite a bit here this entire time with a muted mic. Yikes. Oh, man.
I thought you were showing up like how you do your stuff, but the more I think about it, I'm just like, wait, she should be talking while doing all this.
Yeah, I was talking. Gosh, now you guys are just hearing me. Yeah, that was like a really important part for this painting too, was trying to figure out how to navigate and get that lighting working there and sort of the thought process that I was going through and talking about, man. Yeah, Lee. All right. It'll be okay. We've got lots of other painting to knock out throughout this semester. But the main thing that I want you guys to keep in mind here is that I'm going through in various passes to get to this level, to this stage. So I've done my midtones after my line work. Might not have line work. Otherwise, you just do your color blocking and your midtones. Then I go through and I do a shadow pass. And then after that shadow pass, I go through and I start working on the highlights. And I'm trying to stay loose with each one of these passes that I'm doing on my scene. I don't want to get too detailed early on. And right now, I like seems like I've been doing that this entire night. Like as soon as I start to talk about like one general rule, I find myself like breaking it on the screen. But you don't want to get too close to these paintings like I am right now. You want to stay further back and looser along the way. This is the moss, though. This stuff's kind of special. So we're gonna get a little closer on that. One of the things I think that happens is when we get too close like this to our paintings, we're not thinking gesturally as much. We start to get too tight and we end up creating way too much visual noise. And we lose that ability for our paintings to be able to have breathing space or breathability within them. And they start to look a little bit too tight and too controlled. So this is at 100% opacity. We're going to turn it down 40%. There we go. Loosen all that stuff up. Brighten all those. Got one more super highlight for these guys. Painting with the microphone off. Wow. It's a Monday. Mm. Cool. So that's working pretty well now. Time to go in and start working through the highlights on the cliff face itself. So to be able to select my layers very quickly, what I'm doing is I'm just hitting V on my keyboard to get into my selector. With your selector, please make sure that you have the auto select turned off. We do not want that on. And this is why I like to have a mouse that has a right click button because I'm able to right click and get to my layer very, very quickly this way. So now I've got my shadowed layer. I did not create a new layer for my shadow layer in this one, which is unfortunate. But we're going to create a new layer. We're up to 81 layers that I've created within this file. And we've got a slightly different color for those bricks, a little bit of a tan type of tone. And now I could start. Hmm, there we go. This is the charcoal one. All right. So my brush is at 100%. I do not want that. Let's take it down to 34. So I have three different chances to be able to fill in my section. There we go. Getting a nice bright highlight on the rocks right around there. We did want a cave. Lessen those highlights. There's my ridge. And some other highlighted areas going on right around here. Again, I'm working really far back on my canvas. I don't want to get too close at this stage. I think that when you get super close like this, that's when your piece starts to feel a little bit more rigid and a little less tai chi, less flowy. It starts to feel more uptight. So by working loose like this at first, we preserve the hand of the artist. And we get a bunch of natural, happy little mistakes. We do need to go back and then polish these sections up to make them look really good at the very end. So this is 34%. We're going to go to 6% now. Just do a softer gradient. 6%, way too low. Let's go to 15. Going to need to use the smoothing tool or the smudge tool on this. I can already tell. Yeah, it looks pretty gross. So let's see with this not the most successful pass, what we can do with it with just a quick little smudge tool. If you overuse the smudge tool, all your stuff is going to look like you use the smudge tool too much. So try and use it sparingly. Try and keep the some of your brush work still in there. You don't need to overly smooth and blur every little thing. You want to leave some of those hard edges within your paintings, but it can help you to quickly dissipate. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Can hide some of your brushwork. Okay. So, what do I think about this? I think that when we zoom out, it we're losing the elephant's face or the impact of the elephant to all those really strong highlights that are on the rock face. So that means I'm going to mess with my layer interpretation. We've got to do something else to figure this out and make it work. That's pretty cool with the green on there. The elephant's definitely standing out. The darker brown's not too bad. Got the red on it. I think that's one that I'm going to have to continue just to mess with a little bit more. Later on, the green's kind of nice. It's a hard light. Yeah, I think hard light's where it's at. So what I'm doing here is adding just a another highlight of that green, just to be able to give the rocks a little bit more interest. I'd like to get some of the red within there as well that are in the elephant's eyes and start pulling that in. Yeah, we're creating sort of a drop off in the color scheme. I think that that green helped a lot. That was a good call. And likely, so my main thing when I'm looking at this right now is hmm, this area uh, doesn't really look all that great, and I think that it's competing or clashing with the elephant's trunk, the base of the trunk. So I need to figure out a way to be able to make the elephant's trunk still the most important thing within this piece. And yeah, there's still some work that needs to go on and some tinkering that needs to happen with it. We'll figure it out. But for now, let's get back in here and add the highlights onto the grassy stuff. I'm gonna hold down Control, select my grass layers. Got a shadow pass for all the grass. Just on top of that shadow layer is going to be where I paint. Again, trying to stay loose here. Ooh, I have a bad habit of like crossing my legs when I'm sitting down and sort of like pulling them back. I think it's gonna give me some leg issues the older I get. All right, some strain on my knee. Sitting in an uncomfortable position. So there's a natural tension when you're going through and trying to do something like this. All right, so that's a little bit sloppy, but we'll keep pushing on with it. All right, getting a little bit too hairy with the lines, and whenever that starts to happen, I usually just need to open it up more. My brush is also at 100%, which is not how I should be working. Should be working with it around 50 to 30% on the opacity, which should be. I have no idea what I just did there. I was like some kind of quick mask. Cool. So now we're getting a little bit of green. Put in there, and those pops. are certainly helping. Cool. Fortunately, they gave me this nice bright color for the elephant's eyes. Mhm. 5%. So those look better now. They're brighter. It's starting to make the whole thing work a little bit better. Thank goodness. Got this entire layer that I haven't done anything with yet. So that's a problem. Let's do a shadow pass on this layer real fast. I've also got the other one back here to work with. Mm, 45%. Mm. So I'm doing something called ambient occlusion right now, where I'm trying to paint where the light cannot go. So light has a hard time getting into the crevices and the nooks and the crannies, and this always helps. Mm. Doing something like this to help tricks folks' brains into feeling like they're really looking at a real space. Right. Cool. So now we got our shadow pass on this. I'm going to go in and start working those highlights. Working too close. And notice how I'm just doing the tops of the stairs as I'm moving through. Because I've got my ambient occlusion pass that I created earlier. That works pretty well to be able to get the jungle stairs in there. All looking nice. And now I've got my super bright highlight layer. I want that one to sort of stop and not really continue all the way through. Okay, so there's my old highlight layer. Let's grab that, and I want to start to erase some of it. It's at 38%. There we go. So we still have some of the brown and green and stuff in there. All right, I really like how those stairs are looking. That looks strong to me. Definitely still got some work to do on the big rock wall here. I think that's looking too messy right now. There's got to be some kind of solution for that. Okay, so that's at 78%. And just trying to use all the tools in my bag right now as I'm working through this thing. For jungle bridge fall. There we go. And yeah, so I've got the foliage down at the bottom and the water to go through and highlight and make it look as good as I can. And I've got this other little section for the stairs back over there as well. But yeah, these come together pretty fast when you're working this way in these various passes. Um, yeah, still got some more work to do uh, within the elephant itself to hash it out and make it look right. But I think we're on to something, and it's definitely getting heading somewhere. Try and do this real quick. So I'm going to duplicate my layer. Okay, let's go to image adjustments, place color, blue with hue. Okay. Turn down the lightness a little bit. Cool. Well, that's working well for me. I thought that was going to be a lot harder to do. So now that that tusk matches the rest of the stuff just a little bit better. That's a huge help. I like it. Like how the purple on there is sort of pulling your eyes to that back section for the shot. I haven't used black anywhere in this piece yet, but I think I need to give myself 10 minutes to sort of let my eyes reset. Just made a lot of choices and decisions here. And yeah, next thing is start painting this stuff down at the bottom and figure out where we're gonna put in that fog of war to down at the base to be able to soften some of this stuff underneath the elephant's trunk on that wall so that it's not quite as visually strong and standoutish. And yeah, okay. Let's break for 10 minutes and then I'll get back to painting.